My name is Dr. Joseph Frager. I am the chairman of American Friends of Aterat Kohanim, and I've been associated now, this is my 30th year, with Aterat Kohanim. And we have Mati Dan, the founder of Aterat Kohanim from the Israel side, and we have the founder, Bernie and Ann Honig, and Mel Wadler on the American side here tonight and being honored tonight. And this is the 30th annual Aterat Kohanim dinner. We have Ambassador John Bolton coming, and he's the featured speaker. We also have Rabbi Boteach coming as a featured speaker. Ambassador Bolton always comes at timely moments. It's June 22nd, 2015. June 30th, 2015 is the deadline for what is probably one of the world's worst deals ever, potentially, and hopefully it won't happen, but all indications so far seem to indicate that it is going to happen, and that is a terrible mistake for America, a terrible mistake for the world. And hopefully Ambassador Bolton, who's been fighting this terrible deal for a long time, will say some very insightful things tonight. Additionally, this is 10 years since Gush Katif. I never forget to mention that. We dedicate a lot of various events in the United States to prevent Gush Katif from ever happening again in Eretz Yisrael. We helped the museum, the Gush Katif Museum. We did a number of dinners together with them. And of course, our concerts in Central Park were dedicated in 2005 to preventing the expulsion from Gush Katif. And we, I think, have to learn valuable lessons never to have it happen again, because it was such a traumatic and terrible event in Jewish history. Additionally, we have to, it's Aterat Kohanim, so we are trying to bring Yerushalayim back to life in all its glory, its former glory. Mati Dan and his lovely wife, Etcha, have really pushed the envelope with transformation of Yerushalayim into a very secure city, first of all, but also one that's regaining the glory, the Jewish past, of the Jewish past. And tonight, Dr. Rubin, Mark Rubin, Naomi Rubin are being honored. They are purchasing, or purchased already, and there's already a Chanukah Dabayit of a home that they're going to be living in the so-called Muslim quarter. As we all know, it's rightfully the old Jewish quarter, because in the 1880s, when the Jews were in Eretz Yisrael already, they lived in this quarter. So the Muslim quarter is not really rightfully called Muslim quarter. It should be called the old Jewish quarter or the new Jewish quarter, because that's really where the Jews were. So Mati has done a great job of making sure that it becomes Jewish again, and we are here in America to try to support him in every which way. All of Eretz Yisrael, it's Yisrael Shlema, belongs to the Jewish people eternally. God has given it to us. He has told us that this is our land, and it's up to us to make it happen. Mati Dan is one such individual who has made it happen. We need more people like him, because we cannot stop. Our enemies are constantly working extremely hard to stop us. It's up to us to work harder to prevent them from stopping us. American Jewish contribution to the land of Israel, I think, is enormous, and it should never be forgotten. And most of the prime ministers, especially starting with Begin, and even before Begin, would always thank the American Jewish efforts to help Eretz Yisrael. So I do believe that the American Jewish efforts have helped. We didn't prevent Gush Katif. I don't think there were that many ways to prevent Gush Katif. It was such a, you were dealing with Ariel Sharon. You were dealing with someone who's, it's like a tank. It's almost impossible to stop a very fast-moving tank. And that was the problem. It wasn't, if we could have gotten to him, maybe we could have prevented it. But it was, despite all our efforts, and there were tremendous efforts here and tremendous efforts in Israel. I never saw such efforts anywhere at any time. I mean, holding hands for 60 miles from Gush Katif all the way to Yerushalayim, that is embedded in my mind as one of the greatest acts of activism ever, to show in unity and show that we were opposed to the expulsion from Gush Katif. But I do believe that the American efforts helped prevent Oslo from taking over all of the Oslo Accords, was signed in 1993, from taking over the amount of land that potentially would have been given to the Arabs. Too much was given already because we've gotten very little in return. But our efforts in America were extremely important to prevent Oslo from really taking over all of Yehuda and Shomron. So I don't ever think that our efforts are minimal. I think we can do a lot to help Israel with Iran. I think that you're seeing the efforts of the Congress and the Senate all reflecting American Jewish opinions that are much more aligned with the prime ministers. I mean, the American Jewish people are helpful, and our voices are being heard, and American people are being heard. So we have a lot of friends, and they hear our opinion more so than J Street or more so than New Israel Fund or B'Tselem or any of these liberal left-wing organizations. So I think that our efforts are extremely valuable to the land of Israel. I believe that's my tafkid in America. That's why I'm still here and not living in Israel where I should be. But the reason is that I find that I have to do a lot every day of my life to offset a lot of what's happening from America vis-a-vis Israel.